Just as the holidays inspire us to combine the selfless act of giving with the cognitive dissonance of global consumerism, so too have I been inspired to combine chords and melodies. So, I thought this would be a good idea to take a famous holiday song and turn it into a guitar lesson on how you can play chords and melody stuff at the exact same time. So we are taking the song We Three Kings, alright? Really cool song. I like it because it's in a waltz. All my favorite songs are in 3/4 timing for the most part. And we're going to go through the chords. I'm going to link you to the Ultimate Guitar tab so you can follow along with the chords at home. And then we're going to talk about how to find the notes and then combine them at the same time using the Orangewood Sage for this. And basically, let's just start with the chords, okay? Really easy. They're all in open position. So we've got A minor to E minor to A minor. Again, E minor, A minor, C, G, A minor, F, D minor, E major, A minor. And then we're going to get into the chorus. But I want to talk about just that at the beginning, right? So I don't want to spend too much time on the chords because, again, most of this is going to be combining that kind of finger style arrangement type thing. You don't have to use finger picking. You can do the same with the pick. Okay? But it's really all about knowing the notes in the key and then combining those with your chords, okay? So this is in the key of A minor, which is the same thing as the key of C. So it's really important to learn the notes in that key because we're really not going outside of the key, maybe barely for a second. We'll talk about that when we get there. But specifically on the higher strings because that's where usually the melody comes on top of a chord, which is something else we're going to be talking about. But we're just going to go through all the notes in the key of C in this open position, right? Again, you can really play the entire song in this 3-fret radius, okay? And we're going to start string by string. Open, 1, 3 on the low E string, E, F, G. Again, the notes are just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. E, F, G. A string is A, B, C, open, 2, 3. D string is E, D, E, F, open, 2, 3. The G string is just open 2, G, and A. The B string is open 1, 3, B, C, D. And the high E string is open 1, 3, E, F, G. So again, you're really going to want to know the top 3 strings here. So super easy. Open, 2, open, 1, 3, open, 1, 3. Those notes are G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now a lot of what we're going to be doing is just adding one of these notes to a chord. Okay, so we're going to take it super slow, part by part. Okay, so this is the first thing we're going to do. We know that the chords are A minor to E minor to A minor. We have to combine that melody. So the best thing to do for your musicianship is to really use your ear to use this scale that we just kind of learned. Specifically, the top part. Be able to do this back and forth. Open, 2 on the G string. Open, 1, 3, open, 1, 3. And even if your ear isn't super advanced where you can just kind of play something like... Really just start going forward and back because eventually it just becomes a guessing game where it's like, well, is the next note higher or lower? Well, okay, if this is the first note, is the next note higher? No, it's higher than that. You just go through the scale and so on and so forth again, right? So, let's take the notes from the beginning melody. Alright, so open E, 3B, 1B, 2G, then B string, open, 1 open, I'm pulling off there, and then ending on 2G. So this is the first phrase of the song. Be able to do that first. And then now let's add those to the chords. We know for that phrase it's A minor to E minor to A minor, okay? So A minor to E minor to A minor. Even if you don't want to add a strumming pattern, just A minor. Okay? The nice thing about that A minor is on top, that's where our melody starts. Open E, right? So 1 chord at a time. Open E, 3B, 1B. Now, you'll notice sonically that what I'm doing here is I'm finger picking it kind of like. And then I'm using my fingers to kind of get that, right? So that's an advantage of finger style arrangement. and I'm stopping the chord where the melody is the highest note that I'm playing. So you'll notice that if I'm playing over an A minor, I'm not playing it like that because that when I get all the strings in there, that high E string is going to kind of take over some of the melody. You can still kind of hear it. You know, that's like an acceptable way to do it, but I think it sounds a lot cleaner if you just go through the chord to the top of where the melody is. Again, so okay, so I've got the A minor chord. I'm going through all the way to the high E string. I'm getting the 3rd fret on the B string, and then playing the chord again, but the next time I play the chord, I'm stopping at the B string to where my pointer finger is because that's where the melody is. Then after I hit the melody in the A minor chord, I'm hitting the 2nd fret on the G string because, again, 2G, that's where we're going. Okay, so I have kind of 2 chord strums and 4 melody notes. 2 of those melody notes I'm attaching to the chord. Then by the time I get to this E minor, right there, right? We said the melody was B, 1B, open B. The great thing about that E minor, when I'm strumming it, I'm not hitting the high E string. If anything, I'm kind of muting it so I don't hear it. So that melody's on top, B, C, B. Then back to A minor, right? And then you really want to kind of emphasize the 2G in that A minor chord. You don't necessarily always have to get the note on top, but I think it really kind of has that melodic sound to it. So all together. All right, so that's going to be the first part. Great thing about it is it happens again. All right, so that's just A minor to E minor, back to A minor. Now the next part, we're going to go through some more chords in the progression. C to G to A minor to F, okay? So, really common chord progression in the key of C, in the key of A minor. Like I said, same difference, just different ways of looking at the same thing. C, G. Now the way I'm playing a G is I'm not worried about the bass note in a G. I'm just going from a C to a G like this, where my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string, my pinky is on the B string 3rd fret, back to A minor, to F major, but not a bar chord F major. You could do a bar chord F major. We'll talk about that when we get there. But those are the chords. Now let's talk about where the melody is, right? All right. 1, 1, 3 on the B string. E. 1, 1, 3, open E. 1 E, open E. 3 B, back to E. Right? So we're going to do the same thing that we did in the A minor part over these chords, right? Again, over a C to a G, A minor, F. Okay? The C is really easy because we start on 1B, which that happens to be a note in C. A lot of the time, the note that you're looking for in the melody is in the chord. Now, sometimes it might be in a different position depending on how you're playing the chord, but that's really the fundamental principle of all this. Most of the melody is hidden in the chord. It's just playing through the chord and stopping on the right note to really bring that melody out in your playing, right? So we want to get C to G. That's why we use the G where our 3rd fret is on the B string instead of like an open B, something like that, because we want to get that 1, 1, 3, E, the C note on the top of the C, to the G chord, where this is our melody, C to G, and then again the next one is going to be that open E to the 1st fret, and open again, right? So C to G. Now this is the first time where we're adding maybe like a little kind of bar chord move on this. By the time we get to that A minor, we want to add the F note to the melody to the E. Now that E is on top of the A minor, right? That open E string. So it's really easy to kind of just put your pointer finger, smash it down into the 1st fret, and then open it up. So C to G, A minor, and then however you want to do this. The next part is after we open that up, we're getting the 3rd fret on the B string and then open again. Now this is going to happen over an F major chord. A couple different ways you can do this. You can bar chord it and then just kind of add your pinky or something like that to the 3rd fret. What I like doing, I actually kind of like playing this F major 7 chord and then getting my pinky just down to the B string and then opening up the top of that F major chord. Bum, bum. Alright, so we have the first couple notes over the C major, then the next 2 notes over the G, the next 2 notes on the A minor, and the next 2 notes on the F major, okay? The next part of the song before we get to the chorus is, and on the chord sheet, D minor, E major to A minor, okay? 3B, open E, 3B, 1B, open B, 2G. Those notes go over D minor, E major, A minor, okay? So we're going to use the same stuff we've been talking about, and then we're just kind of combining all the stuff together, right? Now what I like doing here, this D minor, I like playing it as a D suspended 2, so I leave the high E string open, because the first time I play the D, I'm stopping on the B string, because that's where that melody is. Then the second time, I'm getting the open E on top of it. So even though the chord chart calls for a D minor, the 2 chord, in the key of C, I'm just kind of treating it as a suspended 2 chord because I'm going there anyways. Now by the time I get to this E major, we need to grab the 1st fret on the B string to go open B next and end on 2G. Same thing we did with that A minor, where you kind of bar it down. We're going to do the same thing with the E major. So I'm barring the 1st fret, so I'm actually holding down 2A, 2D, 1G, and 1B. And then hitting the A minor, okay? So all together. Same thing again, A minor, E minor, A minor, C to G to A minor to F, and then the D minor, and then now we're going to transition into the refrain, which a G7 will get us all the way back into the next part of the song, which honestly, this is really a great song as far as just songwriting, going from a minor key to a major key, being the same key, all right? It's really kind of confusing talking about keys, saying the song is in A minor or it's in C major when they're the same key. But this is a great example of how that works, because the first part of the song is very minor heavy, right? It definitely sounds like a minor song. C to G to A minor to F, then D minor, E, A. We're gonna pivot on this G7 chord and then go into the C to F to C. C, C, F, C. And then what is it? A minor, G, F, G, C, C, F, C. That's the whole song. And now we can really, that has such a hopeful, kind of like uplifting part in the refrain, because now we're using the same key, we're using the same chords, but since we're so heavy on this C to a F to a C, instead of A minor, E minor, A minor, it's a totally different vibe to the song. It's a really cool example of how tonal center affects songwriting and using choices in a song to kind of tell a story, right? There's a reason this song has been popular for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. I don't really know. But, so again, we're gonna find the melody in that C chord to F back to C. Now we're gonna start on the 1st fret of the B string. So we've got 1, 1, 1, open G, 1B, 2G, 1. Okay, now this is gonna traverse just like the Kings have. 3 different chords, C to F to C. Okay? Now, the great thing about this is I don't have to really move anything different. All the melody is within these chords. If you notice what I'm doing with my hand here, I'm getting the first fret on the B string, open G, that's when I switch to the F, and then 2G is supplied for me right there in the F chord, back to C. Do that again. Okay, now we're gonna go through a different run, A minor, G, F to G. Okay, so really easy. The chords are right there. A minor, G. I'm still playing the G as kind of like this, 2A, 3B G chord because I'm really kind of ignoring the low E string for most of these root notes. So there's our next melody. 1B, 1B, 3B, open E. 1E, open E, 3B, 1E. So you'll notice on the A minor chord, there's our melody right there, the first fret. I'm getting those two notes, 1B back to back, C, C. I'm going to the G chord. The two notes that the G chord has are 3B and open E. Then I'm going to go to F. Now the notes I need for F are 1E and open E, and then back to G. Same thing, 3B, open E. Okay, so really easy. A lot of the reason I think this is such a perfect song to demonstrate this is because really the rhythm is steady, where maybe we just have two notes per chord and it kind of keeps the pattern. So it's a really great intro to playing this way. So after the C to F to C, we got that A minor to G to F, back to C to F. Sometimes we want to play A minor, but yeah, it's just the whole thing at the end is just the same melody. And then you can really pivot that to go back to the A minor to E minor to A minor. By the way, I did a lo-fi edition of this song, which I'll link you to in the description if you want to see a totally reworked version of this. But it's the same thing. I'm doing the same thing on piano, really. So yeah, that's the entire song. The trickiest move, I think, is maybe like that F, that holding it down and then opening it up. First fret to open, F to F major 7. Again, the chord technically changes when you add a melody on top of it. We're not thinking about these and changing different chords. We're thinking of basic chords, adding the melody on top, not really worrying about what their name is, because I really think it's a huge step for your musicianship if you can find those notes in a key and then add those to the chords and then just think of like chord melody and kind of like combine them together, right? So really quickly and slowly at the same time, I'm going to do everything again. Starting on the A minor, to E minor, A minor, A minor, yeah, to E minor, A minor. Here's our first run where we go C to G, to the A minor, to the F with that third fret on the B string, and then back to D minor, E, A minor, pivot on the G7 to get us to the next part, C to F major, to C, C to F major. You can have liberties with the rhythm as I'm kind of taking here. A minor to G to F to G, back to C, then F minor to C. Then you can kind of go back to the A minor, A minor to E minor part. So, awesome song, really. Definitely worth kind of putting some effort into. If you have any questions or comments, hit me on the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. Make sure to Support the channel by taking one of the master classes and streaming the Lo-Fi Christmas album. If you have any questions, like I said, hit me up in the comments. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.